You ever notice this? Someone takes a little longer to reply, and suddenly your brain goes, "They're losing interest. They're going to leave. I knew it." And the weird part, you know it sounds irrational, but it feels real. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. What if this isn't about them at all? What if this feeling started long before they ever showed up? Because abandonment issues don't come from one moment. They come from a pattern your brain learned early and never unlearned. Abandonment issues don't always come from someone physically leaving. Sometimes no one left, but you still felt alone. Maybe you had parents who were there, but emotionally unavailable. Maybe they were busy, stressed, distracted. Or maybe they loved you, but didn't know how to show it. So what did your brain learn? Not, "I am safe," but "love is inconsistent." And that changes everything. Because when love feels unpredictable, you don't relax into it. You chase it, you monitor it, you try to control it. And without realizing it, you become addicted to reassurance. Think about this. Why do some people need constant texting, constant validation, constant proof? It's not because they're too much. It's because their nervous system never learned what enough feels like. Part 2. How it shows up. Now here's where it gets dangerous. Abandonment issues don't look obvious. They hide. They show up as overthinking, jealousy, clinginess, or the opposite, emotional distance. Yeah, even people who act cold sometimes fear abandonment the most. Because if you don't get too close, you can't get hurt. But here's the twist. No matter which side you're on, clingy or distant, the core fear is the same. They will leave. Let's make this real. Imagine this. You send a message. They don't reply for 2 hours. Your brain doesn't go, "They're probably busy." It goes, "They're ignoring me. They don't care. I'm losing them." And now your mood changes. Your energy drops. You feel anxious, restless. That's not logic. That's conditioning. Part 3. The self-sabotage loop. Here's where it gets even worse. Abandonment issues don't just make you afraid of losing people. They can actually cause it. Because when you fear abandonment, you behave differently. You might text too much, seek constant reassurance, get triggered easily, overanalyze everything. Or you might push people away first, act distant, act like you don't care. Either way, you create tension. And slowly, people start pulling back. And when they do, your brain says, "See, I was right." But the truth is, you weren't right. You were conditioned. This is important. You don't attract abandonment. You recreate it. Not intentionally, but subconsciously. Part 4. Why it feels so intense. You might be wondering, why does this feel so strong? Because abandonment isn't just emotional, it's biological. Your brain processes rejection almost like physical pain. So when you feel ignored, left out, or even replaced, your body reacts like it's in danger. Heart racing, overthinking, tension. That's not weakness, that's survival wiring. But here's the problem. Your brain is reacting to the present using rules from the past, and those rules don't always apply anymore. Part 5. The real reason you stay. Here's something most people won't tell you. People with abandonment issues don't just fear losing people.
They fear being alone with themselves. Because when everything goes quiet, all the unresolved feelings come up. The insecurity, the doubt, the question, am I enough? So instead of facing that, you attach harder. Even to people who aren't good for you, even to relationships that hurt you. Because pain with someone feels safer than emptiness alone. Let that sink in. You're not holding on to them, you're holding on to what they distract you from.
Part 6. How it affects your relationships. Over time, this creates a pattern. You fall fast, you invest quickly, you care deeply, but you also overthink more, trust less, fear more, and relationships start to feel exhausting. Not because love is hard, but because fear is always present. And the worst part? Even when someone truly cares about you, you struggle to believe it, because your brain is always waiting for the moment it disappears. You don't feel secure, even when you are. Part 7. How to start healing. Now let's get real. This doesn't go away overnight, but it can change. Step 1. Awareness. You need to start catching the pattern. When you feel triggered, ask yourself, is this happening right now, or is this something I learned before? That question alone creates space. Step 2. Stop chasing constant reassurance. Because reassurance feels good temporarily, but it feeds the cycle. Instead, build internal reassurance. Remind yourself, not everything is a threat. Step 3. Sit with the discomfort. This is the hardest part. When you feel like texting again, checking again, seeking validation again, don't. Just sit. Because that discomfort, that's the feeling you've been avoiding your whole life. And facing it is how you break the cycle. Healing doesn't feel comfortable. It feels unfamiliar. Part 8. Relearning safety. Your brain needs proof, not words. So start small. Let someone reply late and don't assume the worst. Let silence exist without filling it with fear. Give people space without panicking. Each time you do this, you're teaching your brain not everything ends. And slowly, that fear loses power. Part 9. The truth you need to hear. Here's the truth. You were never too much. You were just never reassured properly. You were never needy. You were just trying to feel safe. And you were never hard to love. You just learned love in an environment where it didn't feel stable. That's not your fault, but healing it is your responsibility. At the end of the day, abandonment issues aren't about other people leaving. They're about the fear that you'll be left with yourself. And the goal isn't to stop caring. It's to reach a point where even if someone walks away, you don't lose yourself. Because once you feel secure within, no one leaving will ever break you again. And maybe that's what you've been searching for all along.